this whole track. Stefan Papp with his talk, Let's Define Climate Change.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Terminate climate change. If you see this picture, I don't know if everyone sees it very well, but normally when you see some pictures like that, what you associate it is like intelligent machines fighting humans. And I myself was working as a data professional here a long time in Vienna, and at some point I thought, okay, let's do something more meaningful, because moving data around, building data platforms is nice. But it's not everything. I don't want to say when I'm 60, hey, I create data platforms, I move data around. This is not what I want to be remembered. I said, okay, let's pick a problem that is maybe the biggest problem in humankind. And I said, okay, maybe it's climate change. And as I said, we're always very much afraid that intelligent machines might destroy humankind. But actually, we're very good to ourselves to destroy ourselves. So I want to shift a little bit the focus, not thinking about what can machines do against us, but rather. Sorry? No, sorry. Okay. Yeah, this always happens when you differentiate. But maybe also a good time to talk about what was my intentions here, because my focus is not just, let's say, explain what we can do, is also a little bit to appeal to you, get moving yourself. We have here also partners, Lumos. Are they here? Yeah. Here they are. So they will also start use case exploration. So they have a stand there in where the entrance hall is, and you can go to them and talk with them about climate change. So what they are trying to do is they are trying to find use cases, talk with you, what's important in your organization, and get curious. So use this opportunity. They have a fantastic attitude. They're young, they're ambitious, they want to do something, and I really hope that every one of you goes there and talk with them. Yeah, they're really creating something wonderful here. And there first. Okay, let's see. It works perfectly. Yeah, sometimes technology. Yeah, so as I said, I want to talk about how can intelligent machine help us to save ourselves, because it seems that we are in the best way to destroy ourselves. And as a disclaimer, of course, AI is an important topic in this field, but I will not talk just about AI. It's just also about data. It's about how to visualize data. So it's appeal to everyone who works with data, and I will explain what we can do together to fight this problem. So let's get started. Before we can solve the problem, we need to understand what we want to solve. And I want to give 4 objectives, and this is our objective that's also found in literature. So we need to eliminate greenhouse gas emission sources. Biologically, everyone knows it. We will get reminded every day on it by people telling us, drive less your car, don't fly. We get remembered everywhere that this is happening. But there is more to it. You also need to exterminate gases in the air, because as I will tell you, the gases will not disappear right away. And then one thing is clear. No matter, even if we become exemplary, climate change is happening and we have to prepare for impact. And those are here. I will give you some insights what we can do. And in the end, there is something I call Operation Ice Age. And what this is, I'll tell you in the end. Okay, let's eliminate emission sources. I have this picture is from a book called From Bill Gates, How to Fight Climate Change. You will find in the internet similar diagrams. And this shows what kind of percentage is done by which industry. And some graphs are different, they move some percentage around, but this doesn't matter. What this graph shall show us is that we have different emission sources, and there is no silver bullet. There is no such thing that say, hey, if we do this, we will solve it. Yeah? We have to be aware. We create carbon emissions by, not just by driving, huge emissions are created by making things, by the cement industry, by deforestation. So this is the first thing we have to be aware of, but most of us already know it. Yeah? There is no silver bullet. We have to go a little bit more deeper. And for this talk, I talked with companies in Austria and in Armenia. Happen to not tell you that I'm living in Armenia. What is it? What are you doing now? And I have some hypotheses where we are, and this I want to share with you. I talked with ESG leaders, and they all have great results. So I was asking, how are you doing? And they say, well, you know, since 2019, we already reduced our carbon footprint in our real estate stuff with the headquarters by 20 to 40%. Wow, great thing. Another company said, you know, we are forerunners. We will by 2025 have our car pool fully moved to electric cars. Also very great. But my hypothesis, and this is also I get more confirmed in the talks with other experts, is that we are at the stage where we look very much on tangible items. It's quite clear, real estate, like our buildings, we have these energy reports over years. We know where we are and we know what to do to make it improve it. And it's great to see we move from C to B. There might be some challenges, but yeah, we know what to do. But what we often not know what to do is when it goes into the details. And this is where, for a data scientist, it gets very interesting, because I have taken this slide from McKinsey, and this shows in the chemical industry, you have some recipes where you say, okay, this and this is what we have to do, and if we do that, reduce our carbon emissions. And this is where it gets really interesting for a data scientist. Let's go a little bit deeper. In 2020, I formed a startup, and we wanted to solve exactly one detailed problem. We said, okay, it would be nice if you could forecast the carbon emission in the electricity, because the use case is quite clear. We have a mix between different sources, fossil fuels, renewables, nuclear, whatever. And we set that hypothesis and said, okay, there's a way where you can predict when you should use electricity by having a high percentage of non-fossil fuel related electricity. And there is a way where you should maybe not use electricity, or you're even smarter and use a house battery charging when there is hardly any electricity in the chemical surface. Thank you, Don. And so this was the challenge. And then we had some hypotheses. We said, okay, should be quite easy actually. I mean, with historical data about when there is wind, yeah, turned out to be true. Our data scientists found out really when there's a high correlation with lower emissions and wind and solar. We found out that season is a topic, if it's cold or warm. We found out that holidays, it's all very nice. And then in the end we found out, yeah, you can definitely forecast. But there was one caveat, as usual, data engineering. I'm a data engineer myself, and it's a hell to get the data. And we found out that for every region, you need to create different models. Because first of all, that is what we call it in Denmark. And in Denmark, there's a lot of wind, but what works in Denmark would not work, let's say in France, there's a lot of nuclear energy, or in the areas where you have sun. So you have to create different models, and the data quality is often not the best. But there is one thing what you can learn from it. So if you are working in a company that is aware of this topic, you can be smart and create an analytical model when you want to put your most energy-intensive processes. Think about it and think about what you could do. I mean, this is the purpose of this talk. So we talked about eliminating emission sources. So what is now with the stuff that is already in the air? And here, if there's one thing, I mean, every one of us has a different understanding of climate change, and everyone is aware about the emissions. But not everyone is aware, most likely, about how long carbon emissions are in the air. Or not, it doesn't have to be carbon emissions. Greenhouse gases could also be methane and so on. Science is a little bit, there are different expressions on it. But one insight is this, that it is from months to millennia. So if there's one thing you have to remember, that when you drive from home with a car today or do something where you emit carbon emission, this might stay longer in the air than you exist. Depends. So that, as I said, the science is a little bit varies and there are different opinions on it. But definitely one thing is clear, it doesn't disappear right away. And this gives another use case. We have to remove carbon emissions from the air. There are two very interesting aspects on it, what you can do. One here, this is a so-called direct air capture solution. And direct air capture solution are devices that you put in the area, they capture the carbon emission from the air and then they transform it into stone. A mechanical engineer modeled this and said this is very real that we do it. We use a lot of energy to burn, something to create energy, and then we use a lot of energy to bring it back into the earth, so this is a little bit weird. And it is no surprise that this kind of installations are very popular in areas where there's a lot of energy. Iceland is a good example, so the Coyote is in Iceland because you have a lot of hydro energy. I thought, okay, what can we do as a data scientist or a data professional? Here I found out, not much, because there's a clear economic viability to this topic. At the moment, it costs us $500 for sequester 1 tons of carbon emission. And to become economic viable, it has to be $100. So this is one of these technologies, they might become more interesting with time. And if you have a disruptive idea, might work out. But as a data scientist, we could think about supply chain management or so, but it's maybe not the topic that's so interesting for us. But still, it's something that we should be aware of. So I thought, okay, let's find another use case. And here I found the interesting use case in forestation. I talked with, in Armenia, where I live, I know an entrepreneur whose mission it is to reforest Armenia. So he builds huge amount of forest. And then I talked to him and I said, hey, I mean, this must be quite profitable for you. I mean, basically you make forests and you take carbon emission out of the air. He said, no, unfortunately it's not. Because what's the problem? Regulation. So if you want to make money with forest sequestration, you have to wait 7 years after planting this forest. Then you have to go to one organization out of 2 in the world exists to get a certificate. It costs quite a lot of money. And the question is it really viable? It would be so great if you can, if smaller people could make money out of planting trees, because in a way, this way, you have to go to a large organization to get your certificates. Who will do that? Only those who earn huge amount of lands to build forests. And this is a perfect case for data scientists. Because what can we do? Computer vision. We can create satellite images, and then we can count trees. Maybe doesn't sound so interesting for those people who not so deep in data science, but in the end, it's great. I mean, you have your tree classification algorithm. You can then, with machine learning, find out the estimation of how much carbon would this tree sequester. You can find out spots where maybe there are younger trees, new trees, and you can, in the end, create an interesting model about how much carbon dioxide this forest would take. So if someone has an idea or is interested or is good with computer vision, unfortunately I'm not, maybe then I would have done it already, this is definitely an interesting thing. Okay, I can't go in all the details about these topics, but let's go to the next thing. Prepare for impact. Climate change is happening, and yeah, we will not be able to prevent it right away, at least. And one discipline in the data sphere that is always very popular is risk management. I mean, everyone knows risk management. These are the people that may prevent you from getting a house ready. Some of you might be in risk management, yeah. But one thing I can forecast, and this is risk for people who are dealing with risk, the future is very bright. If you think about what kind of risk we all face, we might hear, yeah, okay, sea levels rising, okay, maybe Miami is underwater, but it's not everything. Besides the sea levels, we have so much other things. We know that there is hurricane season in the US, it's getting worse and worse. We have droughts. We have mass migration because of the droughts. We have wars. Agriculture is a huge thing. In Armenia, I have one hobby now, and this is wine. Winemaking. Not that I do winemaking, but talk with winemakers. And they told me, you know, wine drinking is another story. That I love. We have great wines, but this is not topic. And he told me, you know, to have a really great wine, haven't told it in Armenia, we have really great wine. So it takes you 5 years. So 5 years you have to nurture these grapes, and then you have this great wine, and then you can maybe win some prizes or so. And the thing is that some grapes are more heat resistant and some are less. And this means if you have a change in your environment, at some point you might find new grapes because maybe the grapes that you have right now are simply not heat resistant enough. So this is also a very interesting use case to find the right grapes for wine. Yeah, think about it. And you do something there. Okay, Operation Ice Age. I was in the beginning telling you about this. So now I want to disclose what it is. And this is something that I invented, honestly speaking, that is representative for another discipline that is becoming more and more popular. And it sometimes sounds a little bit strange when I tell you what it is. So, yeah. We all know how we had an ice age with the dinosaurs. So there was a huge meteorite crashing in Yucatan, Mexico, and then the ashes get in the atmosphere and the Earth cooled down. And there's a startup that wants to do exactly the same thing. So they think it's great to put some molecules in the air that will block the sunlight. Sounds very futuristic, and there are more things like that in discussion. So what's happening right now, there are some visionaries who have really a lot of things that sounds very adventurous for many of us, and of course it's considered experimental. But it might be the case that we have to resort to some extreme measures if we're not careful enough, because believe it or not, the politicians who talk in the COP conferences, the climate conferences, at the moment, they can't agree on anything. So maybe it's really about time to think about more drastic measures. And while I personally would be not so happy if people start to experiment by putting balloons in the air and spraying some molecules, this is a perfect use case for simulation. You could create a digital twin of Earth and find ways what you can do. If you can simulate it, then you come to the point where you can experiment, because nobody wants to experiment on the Earth without having simulated it. Climate modeling is definitely maybe the most challenging part, because this is like extreme resource intensive. So if you're really deep into technology, engineering, I think climate modeling is the thing to go if you want to achieve it. So there is an unpopular opinion, and this is also why I'm standing here, because there are unpopular opinion, and I talk really with a lot of climate researchers. They say, even if we now become perfect, it's too late. It's simply too late. We need technology, we need creativity to solve the problem. And AI, artificial intelligence, is part of it. And this is also my appeal to you. So, my appeal to you, we are all in it. And everyone can do with it. And with AI and data, we can find a lot of possible ways to do it. And I'm not sure if everyone is a science fiction fan as I do, but I took this from Terminator 1. Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Terminator was in his room, and the landlord came and was smelling somehow, and he asked the Terminator, "Do you have a dead cat in here?" And that is where the possible response for Arnold. Yeah? So you can choose which response you give to me. I hope you don't take the one that Arnold took, but I give you another one. Let's do something. Let's do something together, because there is, from another Terminator movie, another very interesting slide. So I'm very ambitious to talk with every one of you who is interested in the topic and see how we can do together. Always again, I encourage you, there's enormous people sitting, they're also very interested to talk with you. So, if you want to live, come with me. Thank you very much.